Skinny fat is the unfortunate position which most men find themselves in. My name is Vincent Dominic, and I myself 2.5 years ago was stuck in the skinny fat position. Too little muscle, which I was struggling to gain, and too much fat, which I was struggling to shred. I felt and looked horrible and was super unhappy with my progress of deciding whether to bulk, whether to cut, to try to recomp, just not knowing what to do. And I almost gave up until through trial and error I figured out exactly how to finally get aesthetic and look, feel, and perform amazing. You may have already heard different opinions about what to do, whether to bulk, to cut, to recomp, and I don't blame you for being overwhelmed and for not knowing what to do from the skinny fat position. I mean, I was there too. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what options you have, what I did, so you can avoid the same mistakes and waste the same 1.5 years that I did. Let's get right into it. Now, you have 3 options here for getting into the best shape of your life. One is bulking, one is cutting, and one is body recomping. Now, I've experimented with all of these as well as helped a lot of people throughout the years, and I can confidently tell you which path is best under which circumstances. Let's start with our first path, which is going to be bulking. Now, I'm just going to preface this with I don't like the word bulk. It has a very negative connotation, I think, in the gym community and in general. No one really wants to bulk, so I'm just going to interchange that with putting on healthy mass. Now, this option is very viable for people who are on the skinnier side of skinny fat. Barely any muscle covered with a slim or just stubborn layer of fat when we're looking to gain weight anyway. This approach is super effective, but you have to be smart about it. I tried to bulk up in an effort to do the classic gym bro yo-yo diet, where I bulked up and then I shredded down after. But what I did resulted in me looking and feeling much worse. I made the mistake of doing what's called a dirty bulk. Now, this means you just load up on as much as you can stuff your face with of junk food, of mass gainers, of fillers, slamming down these calories in massive amounts, which, yes, you gain some weight, but then it caught up to me, which is what they don't tell you. Horrible health, skin, digestion, low self-esteem, no energy, no drive. And all I saw in the mirror was more and more pudge. It didn't even look like I was getting bigger. I was just getting fatter. It was a disaster, and please do not follow in my footsteps. Fitness influencers who say you should do extreme cuts or extreme bulks do not have your best interests at heart, and they are probably not natural. You'll end up looking like me and feeling horrible. The trade-off is just not worth it at all. So, for those of you who need a bulk phase, here's my exact blueprint for how to properly put on mass without looking and feeling horrible. And in fact, this is what I'm following now, what's helped me put on 10 pounds of relatively lean mass within the past 8 months, while looking and performing like a beast. Haven't had to force down food, kill myself with junk food, or just feel horrible in general. First thing is going to be eating only natural whole foods, of those of which you're going to be focusing on calorically dense foods, while just maintaining an active lifestyle to keep your metabolism up and running and staying in the gym to build that solid layer of muscle. Incorporate more calorically dense foods for practical swaps. Instead of water, you drink more milk. You drizzle butter, you drizzle olive oil onto your rice, onto your potatoes. Sandwiches with peanut butter instead of things like ham. Swap out your fruits for something calorically dense like dates. Have more cheeky all-butter pastries here and there and occasional ice cream. Haagen-Dazs is my favorite. Your bulk won't be as painful as having to shovel down massive amounts of foods which you don't like in order to just put on fat. It's going to be much more enjoyable if you just make simple swaps for more calorically dense foods. Through this method, your body will start proportionally allocating healthy amounts of mass onto your body. And the absolute key here is going to be avoiding all junk food, processed food, seed oils, which will just cook your gut health, your overall health, your skin, everything. Not all calories are equal. When you eat those kinds of foods, you're not going to be putting on the same kind of healthy mass as if you were eating a natural whole foods diet. So keep that in mind when taking this path of bulking up. Now, on to our second option here, which is going to be to cut. And again, so this is a good option for those who are on the fatter side of skinny fat. A lot of stubborn love handles, but still not quite pushing obese. This is going to be a good option for you. You are going to highlight those abs, those veins, and that V shape a lot sooner than with the other approaches. But do not make the same mistakes that I made a long time ago when I was also attempting this. And I see a lot of people make these mistakes when it comes to cutting. You know, during my skinny fat struggle and many others, I followed the basic cutting weight script I'd seen online. Daily jogging, massive caloric restriction, these protein-rich, fat-free, sugar-free snacks. Through this, I constantly felt deprived, felt gaunt, and had the constant urge to cheat. I was living only to think about eating the foods that I really wanted to eat that I was depriving myself of, destroying my digestion through these processed only protein snacks. And all this culminated in a crash of libido, drive, confidence, and most importantly, happiness. Through all this, I was struggling to go on my daily depressing routine jogs, which would also destroy my joints and lead to leg pain. Skyrocketing cortisol, which is a whole nother story. And in the end, what was the result? Something that was super unenjoyable, super hard to commit to, and led to me honestly just having massive cheat days, massive crash outs. So how can you avoid these same mistakes as I did when you are approaching a cut? Now I'll tell you which approach I took when I was very active in the sport of wrestling in order to make weight. First golden rule here is going to be never to eat processed junk. And you'll see me talking a lot about this in all my videos just because of how important it is for you to understand. Just the basic reasons are cooking your hormonal health, destroying your digestion, and overall not contributing towards your goals in any way, shape, or form. Second, when it comes to cutting weight, is going to be to maximize your thyroid, which controls your energy metabolism. It's located right here. To do this, you eat a plethora of natural sugars and never eat your proteins in combinations of sugars and fats. Eat one either with sugars or with fats. For the most part, if you are looking to cut weight, I'd recommend only eating natural sugars or fruits until noon, and then having 1 or 2 big meals of a protein followed by a sugar or a fat. Again, all natural whole foods. This is really underrated for cutting weight because it addresses the actual root of the problem. And on top of this, constantly stay hydrated with coconut water is a good option. A lot of fruits, electrolyte-rich foods, hydrating foods, so fats as well, to keep you satiated and performing well all the time. Hydration is a super underlooked aspect of cutting weight because you are usually depriving yourself, so just making sure your body has those electrolytes is going to make a big difference. And finally, up the fat shredding activities, you're going to want to be doing 3 times a week on the Stairmaster, some kind of martial art. Stack that with training regularly, and 10,000 steps a day is going to be king here as well. Might seem like a lot to fit in, but you have to make it work for you, and then really, it's not too tough. Now, this is how I could cut 5 pounds over the span of 2 to 3 weeks in order to make weight for a tournament. While, of course, looking, performing, and feeling amazing. No more massive cheat days, no more cooked health, no more cooked performance, just pure results. Because remember, you don't want super fast results, you want super sustainable results. So, if you're going to cut, do it smart. This leads me to my final path, which is going to be body recomposition, which is what I did, which finally broke me through the plateau of being at skinny fat. This option is simply shredding fat while putting on muscle. It seems like what everybody wants to do, but it really isn't the best option for everyone. The cutting and the bulking approach also make a lot of sense depending on where you're starting. But for a lot of people who aren't on the very skinny side or aren't on the fatter side, this approach is going to be king. This made the difference for you to shred stubborn fat while feeling energetic and looking amazing. I literally felt like a video game character who discovered hacks when I finally broke through that plateau using this. You know, after all the yo-yo dieting, all the mistakes, all the just seeing influencers make more and more progress while I stayed in the same place, I literally felt amazing. So let's get into how I recomped my body and how you can too. The secret here to actually recomping your body is going to be to focusing on your health and specifically focusing on optimizing your male vitality hormones. So DHT, testosterone, human growth hormone are all things you take into account, which are going to literally rewire your own biology to shred through fat and gain muscle effortlessly. It made all the difference for me. I also started when I was quite young, which led to an actual difference in bone growth and bone development for me. I grew much taller than both of my parents. With a health-focused lifestyle, it became easy to become lean, vascular, and jacked. So you are going to want to focus on boosting your actual testosterone here. I've made a video that covers that topic extensively, which I'm going to link at the end of this video if you stick around for a little longer. Top of that, stay consistent with 10,000 steps a day. 10,000 steps a day and 3 intense workouts a week to actually build that layer of muscle while keeping metabolism upregulated and shredding through fat through steps. Of course, and need I mention the whole foods diet again? I think I've explained extensively why it's super important for here. It's going to play a massive role in optimizing your testosterone. But the most important thing is going to be to commit to this. You're not going to see results after a week, not after 2 weeks, but 3-4 months, you're going to be unrecognizable. So please make that commitment to yourself at the least to recomp your body through focusing on your health, rewiring your biology through focusing on your surroundings, your diet, and your lifestyle, not even doing more yourself, just optimize what's already there. So yeah, this is exactly what I did and what I teach my clients to do. I've tried many different approaches to health and fitness, and I genuinely think this approach is the best. It makes the biggest impact, the biggest change. Otherwise, I wouldn't quite literally live and embody it. And I'm not your run-of-the-mill average fitness influencer either. I've been on both sides and I know what it's like to be there, to be the person who's skinny fat, who's skinny, who's fat, who has no confidence, no self-esteem, and to be in the position where I am now. Clarity, jacked, amazing feeling every single day, and honestly, all I want to do is help as many people as possible get to this position right now, to be able to fully experience life. So if you are currently skinny, fat, you want to make a real change, a real transformation, not just in your body, but in your health, your clarity, your performance, and absolutely attacking day-by-day life, I can work with you one-on-one with my one-on-one coaching program. You can book a call with me using the link in my bio or my description, and I'll explain to you exactly how I can help you, how we could work together, see if we'd be a good fit, offer you some free advice, of course. Definitely worth a try. At the very least, I'll give you some advice and we'll go our separate ways. So that wraps it up for this video. Here's my video on testosterone. Here's another video, which is great to check out. My socials are in my description if you want to see more of me. If you stuck around till the end, thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day or blessed night, and I will see you in the next one.